Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to 954 Miles of Conversation. I'm your host, William T. Vaughn, and also my co-host is Christie McDonald. How you doing, Christie? How's everything?
Good. How are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. It ain't gonna do no good.
Not at all.
Okay. Uh, Tonight's show is really is us featuring a new co-host to the show, and something that you and I have discussed quite some time about bringing someone else in with another dynamic of an opinion and experiences that maybe something that you and I don't have. And I said so. We was looking and searching for that person, and we actually featured her on the show. I think in episode 4, where she was sniffing on something, and I said, "But I've been talking to her for quite some time, and you have been talking to her, so we wanted to give her opportunity." But I mean, she reached out to me, and the way she reached out to me was great. And I listened to her story. That's something that she always wanted to do a podcast, and wanted to do a podcast, but for some reason, her lifestyle at that particular time that she could not do that, and go from there. So, but before we bring her in, I want to make sure that I've been very busy for the last couple of months. Call myself working a part-time job, but it's becoming a full-time job,
Mm.
and I'm constantly traveling all the time. So it's like I'm trying to do multiple things now. So I'm traveling and trying to do a podcast, as well as trying to make myself presentable more in the community of Texas with my fraternity. So I'm actually volunteering more here in Texas with the fraternity, or Omega Psi Phi fraternity a chapter here. It's called a North Texas Bros.
Okay.
And so I've been involved with them, and I have really enjoyed meeting these bros and volunteering my time with them. So I've been doing that as well, and still taking care of charitable donations in Little Rock. Still donating there, and still very active at Pound Macomb chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So I'm working on a golf tournament right now. I'm in the process of moving in 30 days.
Okay.
So 954 will be getting a new look, background
Wow.
of a setting for me. Probably going to bring different things into the play with this background of the opportunity that I got. It was a blessing that I got this, but location that works out very perfectly for what I'm doing right now in Texas with 954 Miles of Conversation. So I know you've been busy. I know you got a high school student that's been graduated.
Hmm.
So you've been doing some traveling lately. What? Tell us what's been going on with you.
So I've had a daughter to graduate high school. My daughter Caroline recently graduated in this past May. I also had another cousin to graduate. So that I think you're talking about the traveling that I did to Princeton. She graduated. She's a college graduate, and so that is what I've been doing. Just kind of getting these graduations underway and working and doing the same old same. Nothing new.
Hmm. Okay, so how's the job? I mean, you was a one man show with that. What's going on with that?
Work is about the same, so it's still going steady. We did get to hire someone, so we are we're moving along. The state is moving along, so hopefully things will change in state government, and we'll have more people, and we'll work with more instead of the less that we've been working with
Mm.
on this skeleton crew.
Oh, Skeleton Crew. Okay.
Mhm.
There's a lot of topics out there. I know that
Mhm.
the Diddy trial is, and I'm looking forward to all three of us tackling that and
Mhm.
addressing that on the show. The Diddy trial, because it's a lot of information that I don't think people realize that existed. A
Mhm.
lot of hidden secrets that are coming out over the years, and so I think a lot of people are going to. They might not be shocked. then again, they might not be surprised by it, but it does exist, and then people live these double lives and triple lives. Eventually, those things gonna come out on the back end when something is wrong, when it becomes criminal, and it's like a death. I always tell people when you working a death, I don't know whether it's natural, um, you know, a natural death, or suicide or a homicide. Those deaths brings out things that people don't even exist in people's lives, as well as those who've been around those people. And that's what I look at this trial as a death for Diddy, because it's bringing out a lot of stuff that he's tried to hide over the years, and now it's all coming out. So, and that's something I would like to address with our new co-host. And so, without further ado, we're gonna bring her in to the studio, because I'm looking forward to her, talking to her and getting her point of views, which is going to be an excellent add-on to 954 Miles of Conversation.
I agree.
Welcome.
Hi.
Coming here. How are you doing?
Hey, everybody. Hey, sis. Hey, T.
Well, coming in, welcome to 954 Miles of Conversation,
Thank you,
where we
thank you,
explore
thank you.
boundless conversations 1 mile at a time. And we know that you can explore those conversations 1 mile at a time, because you done showed us that in one of your shows, one of our tapings and episodes number 4, where you was trying to sniff on something,
I
and which
was,
this
I
done got
was,
a
I was
lot of
trying to sniff
views.
on somebody's son.
But I wanted, I'm glad we're able to have you as a guest, and it's something that I've always dreamed about, having another person on. Christie and I had talked about this, and so it's not like y'all gonna double team up on me, but I can hold my own.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you there is a class and a SAS. There is the lights and there is the dark. There is the smooth, and baby, I'm gonna bring the rough. So
Yeah.
you go ahead and try us if you want to. Cause she didn't gave me permission. She didn't gave me permission to go ahead and do what I need to do. She just got a certain way that she gonna look at me, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and let you. Yeah,
As you can see, that I stay consistently with my Arkansas connection. For our viewers and listeners, pay attention to her title, Little Rock Girl in a Texas World.
that's
Uh,
it.
she's from Little Rock, from Arkansas. All of us have some Arkansas background, but uh, coming in, do you remember how you got a hold of me? You remember how you got a hold of me?
Yes. It was actually my mother
Okay.
who encouraged me to call you after going live, after having a wine cooler and a conversation with my cousin. Some girl talk turned into, no, we need more than just us. And so my mom got to notice your daughter then went on live and she done been talking. And so she was like, you need to talk to Terrell. And I don't know if you remember him, but he has a podcast and he's asked me, and I'm not going to do it, but I know you'll do it. So that's how it made.
Well, she did. She reached out to me, and I was actually working at the
Mm-hmm.
time. I was actually on my way to El Paso, Texas, and so I was in my deep sleep, like, because it wasn't my time to drive. And so I did talk with her, and I said, "Look, let me just get back with you when I get back, and we'll go from
Mm-hmm.
there." And so she told me she did have that tape, and I went out there and looked at it, and I actually listened to it while I was driving, so it actually kept me entertaining while I was driving at the time. So I shared it with Christie. We all got to laughing about it, and we did a show. And for our viewers and listeners, go back and look at episode 4, because what she said back then, which is and to what she had experienced since then, is
Mm-hmm.
two different people. And
Two different people.
I've had the opportunity to speak with her on several occasions. We have had some some serious conversations about life, and she shared some things with me, and I think that's important to bring an addition to the show is because your experiences are your experiences, and nobody can take them away from you. And
Right.
that's why I try to tell my viewers and listeners, we talk about our experiences because they all are different. At the end of the day, they all are different. The friendships, the family members, the life issues, the relationships, all of them have are different, but they are experiences. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to bring a tradition feel to anything that we talk about. I know that you could talk about it because of your experiences. So I'm really looking forward to working with you and taking 954 to another level to the point to where I have shared some business ideas with you all, and I don't mind putting myself out there. I've shared some business. There's a guy that I have a meeting with this week about revamping the web page to where that web page will eventually be a live viewing of us. I mean,
Mhm.
that's how deep that 954 is about to go to. That when we type on to this platform, they can go to my webpage, go to the webpage, and they can see us live, and they'll be able to interact with us. And so,
Mm.
and I tell people, I don't have sponsors. Do I welcome sponsors? Of course I do. Of course I do. But this has been my sponsorship for me investing in me. I've never had been a type of person where I don't invest in myself. I've always been that way in my career as well as my professional life, my personal life. I always, if you can't invest in yourself, then who is going to invest in you? And so that's how I look at it. Okay, but I'm not going to talk all night long because I want to hear what you got to say. And Christy, I definitely got to hear what you got to say. I know you quiet right now, but that's okay. You can open your mouth. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about you. You can open your mouth. Yeah, because you ain't nothing shy about you. So yes, please. You got a pretty smile. I see that. Yeah, yeah.
Just be picking.
Hey,
Ooh, just
you
be
know I'm gonna
picking.
pick on. Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
think
pick on.
so.
Yeah, yeah. But I just want to, Christy. And hey, you welcome to the flow. It's yours.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Carmenia, it's great to have you. You know, I have a lot of love and respect for you. We talk about everything. We've talked about the Diddy trial. We've talked about current events, politics, sports, graduations, families, life,
Yes,
love, relationships, toxic relationships, good relationships, bad relationships, parenting. We've
yes,
talked about
yes.
everything. So the sky's the limit. And I'm just excited to have you here on 954 Miles. And like Terry said, I can't wait to see, where this goes with the live audience. I think it's going to be really amazing.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be great too. And I just want to take this moment to just thank you both for seeing something in me, and deciding that I am the piece to the puzzle that you guys would like to have added as far as to complete this heart, because I do see the trifecta. Um, T, you already know my awe in what you've already done for the community and through, your career just in itself and the experiences and the things you've seen and been through, just wow. But the fact that you keep going, that you stay on the go, and then you have a heart for people to open up and communicate, and you make them laugh. But not only that, but even with me, I'm willing to tell you my business. And it's like the ability to have people just tell you and be real and share those things is something that, especially in the world today, people just don't open up like that,
That's
not everywhere. And you go everywhere and people open up to you. And that is a gift. That's a light that you have.
yeah.
And then there's my fancy pants. And that's what I call her because as a woman, I am growing into my goddess light, is what I call it. And
Mm.
that place that I truly want to fall. And I don't want to, like I told her and I explained on just a personal call between her and I, giving first of all, congratulations again. And
Yeah.
job well done, mama. Your baby has graduated. Look, that is the second one up and out. Congratulations, job well done. And then to the
Thank
niece
you.
to graduate from Princeton. Like, baby, these are things that you say really lightly, but those are commendable. And again, job well done. As another member of the Divine Nine and the things that you do in service and also working through this time where the government is having to deal with who the commander in chief is, you know what I'm saying? And keeping it classy. You know, like I told you, I want to thank you for being willing to pull up a seat next to you, but I also am doing that self work and that healing work so that I feel worthy enough to sit at that table because of the way that I admire you as a woman and what you bring to
Thank
the
you.
table. And that receivership, I baby, I want all of it. I want some of it. Yep, I want some of that. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay. I done told you, sis. So tell me which fork to use. I'm gonna follow you. I'm coming off of this coffee era and I'm getting into my tea. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, for those who get it, you get it. You know, I'm learning. And as long as we have something to learn and ways in which we grow, that's a reason for God to keep us here. You know what I'm saying? Once you get it all, you have no reason to keep continue to go. But hey, I like I said, I see something in both of you. I'm gonna eventually get to a place where I will have all of the desires of my heart, but I can't honestly say, just so that everybody knows, I no longer want to sniff on somebody's son. I'm good. She's okay. Yeah, I'm good on that. I don't need to sniff on anybody's son. I was having a moment in reference to wanting to know what was outside, and I kept seeing the shit on the line, and yeah, so it was about Lent time, and you know, as Black people, and Mike Epps said it best. We love the Lord. Like, I don't care what other cultures do, but Black people, we love the Lord. So look, we will take your time, mix it with our time and our celebrations. But in Lent, you know, I have my truths that I call, they're more than just my friends. They're like my sisters. So I always say we've been together since click clocks and ruffle socks. So I've been knowing them for a very long time, and we were all talking about what we were going to do in order for, you know, for Lent, just as a way of cleansing and getting things out. And I just was in a place where I was like, I don't have anything that I want to give up or, you know, not do for those 40 days, you know, for the holiday and in reference of God. But I did pick up some things. So what I picked up for Lent, I just have not put down. So now I read, if not a whole book of the Bible, I at least read 3 chapters of the Bible, and I write down and I journal about them, and I get a summary and an understanding. I pray to God and that He gives me a better understanding. So I dedicate that time every single day now since it was March the 30th that I picked it up. And so I read my word every single day. I now exercise every single day, where I could normally say it was 3 times a week. I now exercise every single day. And I
so
get
you
my three
don't.
miles
So,
in.
so you don't do like that. Like people say, I don't work out 3 or 4 times. When you exercise every day.
Every single day since
Wow.
March the 30th. I now work out every single day. And
Wow.
then I at least um, read 2 to 3 chapters of a self help book in some type of way. I call myself to challenge myself in reference to wanting to sniff on somebody's son because I love love. I am a true lover of love. You know, I married my high school sweetheart. You know, we were married for what would have been 20 years.
Wow.
So, in that time, I can truly say, you know, where I've been irritated with myself, frustrated with the fact that I um, didn't know what it was like to be single, you
Mm.
know, and you see, you know, even in celebrities, Tia Mowry did the same thing, you know, not knowing what it was out here. And that's why in the last, in episode 4, you heard me saying to those women, if you have a good man, take care of him. Because at that time, I was trying to sniff on somebody's son and I just wanted the companionship, but it's deeper than that. It is much deeper than that. It comes with substance.
Mm,
And that person has to have all the things, because I did go through a relationship, and I was, with somebody in a time where you went to a dance and you seen that dude and he seen you, and then it was like we go together. And it was like you and him. And then y'all were together, as kids, you was together at least what, a month, 2 months, but it was you and him.
mm,
Now, being single in 2025, there's no more you and him. It's you, him, her, her. He want to put you on a calendar and in a rotation, and baby, I'm territorial. And who gonna share? Not me. So therefore, yeah, I put that down, and I picked myself up in every single way. And I became the love of my own life. So I no longer want to sniff on somebody's son. I'm waiting on somebody's son to want to know what I smell like and want to come and be in my neck area and smell me, and me to allow them to do so. So I'm away. I am the prize. I'm ready to receive whatever they have to give if it qualifies, because I put myself now where I need to be. If you're not coming with what I have, I had to reestablish myself and look at what God has blessed me with. I hold down a job. I am a proud mother of two adults who are soon, one is soon to be a college graduate, the other one's done. He is literally done and now has left his mama's house like he's a grown man. And I have one left, but I live in a resort style apartment, 3 bedroom, holding this down myself. So if you can't keep me here, or if your life is not on the standard of here, sir, what am I to do? What we doing?
right.
So I had to realize that those that were in my DMs that wanted to let me sniff on them wanted me to hunch on them. And that's not, yeah, like I told, I meant that thing. I don't want to just have nobody's son hunching on me.
I, before,
The whole hookup talking.
oh my goodness, you mentioned your son, and I want to talk about that because one morning I was getting ready to go to work and a recording. I told you about this, and you
Hmm.
didn't even know that this had happened. I'm on my phone and I hear a recording of her on my phone in reference to her son. How it got there, I don't know. I
The
don't
Lord.
listen. But when I heard the recording and what she was saying about her son, and I listened to it about 10 to 15 times before I called, I said, let me make this phone call. And I called her while I'm on my way to work at that particular time. And I asked her, I said, did you mean to send me a recording? And she didn't know what I was talking about. But I told her what was in the recording about her son. And we had a deep, deep conversation about her son because I never met her son, but I knew from the conversation of the recording that he was not just your regular young man. He was a real man. And I can
Hmm.
tell that from what she was saying on that recording. And I say this to a lot of women who have male uh, young boys that they have birth. You cannot make him a man. You cannot. I don't care what you do. You cannot make him a man. But you can hinder his process because what I'm
Hmm.
saying right now, I told you on the phone.
You
Uh,
did.
I said you can hinder his process of becoming a man. And I said I said here I peeped out the fact is that I knew he wanted to be a man a long time ago.
So,
He and she and I nailed her with it. I nailed her with it. She's like, yeah, he did. I don't want it to be. I mean, she got mad at me, but I didn't care.
oh,
I had to tell her, let him go and be a man because that's what he want to be, and that's a
yeah.
good thing in America for a young black male to really be a man, get away from his mother's domain and become himself. That is the only way it happened. And I say that because at the age of 18, I've been out of the house since 18.
Yeah.
I
And
can
I
say that.
have to. And
I
I
can say
get that. I never played with the narrative of you 18 and you're grown.
Yeah.
I did start working at 15. I was out of my mom's house by the time I was 18. And it did give me a work ethic. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm coming into my feminine sexiness now, but I am a true tomboy. So I was that mama who, and still will, put on some Jordans.
Mm.
And I pushed my son down and wrestled, and we had Nerf gun fights sometimes to figure out what dinner was gonna be like. But my babies and we're a team, and my son was a middle linebacker, so he was the captain of his football team, and it was more or less in reference to them even getting older. Even he's my middle. I call him my man in the middle,
Yeah.
and it wasn't about him. It was about my desire and me. It wasn't about him and me keeping him as a baby because
Mm.
I knew that he was a grown ass man.
Yeah.
It was the fact that I wanted them to be able to live life. If you tell your children and teach your children to be kids while they have the chance to be kids, because once you're an adult, you're going to have forever to be an adult. You have forever to pay bills. You have forever to do those things. But what I wanted to offer to my children was something different in reference to, if you want to see Paris, if you want to go to Bali, Dubai, Japan, wherever you want to go now. I got you so that you can see those things and you're not having to budget or not pay your light bill. Or, people go on these trips and, you see in the world where everybody flossing and doing all of this stupid shit. And then they come home and they lights off just because they wanted to go on this ship and they wanted to go and be able to say that they went on a yacht or whatever. You did all of that to come home and your bills and your shit is not taken care of. And
Mm.
I just wanted to be something different for mine. I
Yeah.
didn't want them to have that struggle. I wanted them to go and be able to live life and experience life and take those trips. And I can say happily that my son has been out of the country, not just as my child or as a kid taking a family trip, but he has gone out of the country twice
Mm.
since, being in, well, by the time he was 21, baby, he was ready. He was ready to go. So he was, he's had those times, and as I hugged him and I cried like a baby and was like, "Why you gotta leave me?" Like he said, "Good job." He
Yeah.
literally whispered to me, "Good job." And I think that it broke my heart, but it made me the proudest that I've ever been to know that my son, my 22-year-old son, is not moving out to go live with nobody else's child. He doesn't have a roommate. My son is living alone. He a bad motherfucker, if
Yeah.
I say so myself. He's a bad one. Work two jobs, own car, own place, baby. It's somebody's supervisor. He has people up under him.
Mm.
So for all of those that, question, what kind of mom you're being, there is a fine line between this nastiness that we see in the world where mamas are making their sons they man and all of this bullshit. That shit is crazy.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I will challenge all of you ladies to continue to pour into your babies. And the one thing that I always remembered, and God had a sense of humor, He didn't give me myself back in the form of my girls, because I would
Mm.
have been able to know what to do with myself and how to deal with me. Had it been my girls that He gave me my personality back in, but He gave me myself and my son.
Mm.
And that is how God will get you. Because I
Yeah.
had to make sure that when I raised him, I remembered the fact that he was going to be the head of someone else's household.
Yeah.
And the things that I said to him were always going to stick with him. So there were times in which I had to bridle my tongue. And there were things that I could not say, being that he was going to be the head of someone's household. There were
Right.
ways in which I knew that I would have to approach situations because I wanted him to be the best leader of his own household. And no, he didn't get everything handed to him. My son did work, where my oldest got a car from her daddy. My son worked for his car. His
Mm.
second car was gifted to him. My son has owned five and he is only 23. And only one of them did he get paid for him for having all straight A's in college. Clock that T. So therefore, there is a way to still have a good man to come from a household where a man may not be present, but you build up. I literally call them a garden of knowledge around my son because he is still a flower of mine. And so I gave him a village to count on. And I taught my son, even in that time, he had uncles who were players. He had uncles who were preachers. He had cousins who was outside. He had all of that around him. And like I told him, you have to sift out
Mhm.
and take what's good, son, for you.
Yeah.
And you watch how life has played out for each individual man who calls themselves trying to drop these nuggets into you. And
Mhm.
when I tell you I got a bad one and I'm proud of them, cried like a baby about him being gone. But baby, I can understand now what it was when Terrell told me, that was you. That was you not letting him go. He been ready to go. He been ready to go. Like, look, I know his wings work. He know they work. And we gotta put them into practice right now. Like,
You know
sorry
what?
for that.
That is funny, but I don't know if y'all seen the video. Have y'all seen the video where the lady says, "My sons don't meet their father," and she started twerking, and they all three of them are twerking right behind her? Have y'all seen that
Absolutely
video?
not.
Have y'all seen that video?
No.
I saved it because I'm gonna tell you something. What you just said, if I play that video right now, y'all be like, "Really?"
Mm,
Because all she did, she raised three. She raised three women.
not okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. She raised three women, and that's what they are. And it's
Not
already
okay.
there, from the youngest one all the way to the oldest one. I mean, twerking on there, just like the mama. She said they don't need a man in there,
Mm,
so she raised three women, and that's what she got. But see, it goes back to what I said in a podcast when me and another friend of mine we was talking about what happened with Deion Sanders' son. If they was all gay, all his sons were gay, the world wouldn't say shit about it. They would love it.
mm,
They would love it.
mm.
But they're not. They're real men. And that's what the world do not
And
want to
they
see.
are amazing.
Yes. Don't want to
Yes.
see that. Don't want to see that. Chris, I got something. You empty nester. So are you an empty nester now to the point to where how does that feel?
Well, she's still here. She hasn't left quite yet.
No, I ain't talking about that. I kind of empty nester, but that empty nester is like no more high school, no more dealing with that stuff.
Hmm. So I think I'm kind of still dealing with it, uh, so to speak, getting her ready for school, like, going to orientations, still filling out applications for scholarships. So she's gotten quite a few. So I don't know if I've told you guys this, but she's going free. And then she got another
Look at
big one
God.
today. So I don't want to announce it because I don't know if they've announced it yet. But she got another really good one today that she was very excited about. So I don't know that I don't know that I would ever stop being a parent. I don't even know how that would feel. I think that they're leaving, but they're still here. But I was listening to what Carmenia was saying, and to her point, my children surprise me every day. You can't really rule them out because sometimes they will shock you. I don't
Hmm.
ever think that my son is listening to everything that I'm saying, but he never ceases to amaze me with some things that he comes up with. So he's been listening, and I was very happy to see the growth. And I think sometimes they just need a little bit more time to mature and to grow into their own. I'm not saying that they all are lacking or lack of. I'm just saying that sometimes that maturity is slow. So just kind of listening to her and what she was saying about her son and how proud she is, I can actually say I'm very proud of my son. He's not going to college or doing those things, but he is a hard worker, and he is shocking me every day. I see a little bit of something new that I was surprised, because I certainly can't. I'm a mom. I can't raise a man. He needs a father for that. I can do the best that I can do, but he's growing into his own. So I'm really excited about the future for both of my kids. So I'm not quite an empty nester yet. So I can't fully answer the question because I have two grown-ups that still live here that depend on me quite a bit. One is probably waiting on me to make him some hamburger helper, that one being my son. So I don't know how that feels just yet. They still need their mom.
Girl, you gonna
And
cry in the corner,
I still
girl.
love
It's
them.
okay. Yes.
I don't
And
think I'm
even
gonna
with you
cry
saying
though.
that school, I truly am a realist. If my babies would have graduated high school and told me, sis, that, I'm done with it, like,
Hmm.
and I would have had an open conversation like, so what is it that you want to do? Because we have to be real. Every
Yeah,
school's not
that's
for
true.
everybody,
That's true.
So do you want to trade? What is your heart
Yeah.
speaking? I can honestly say that God blesses us as women. That is the closest that we get to death. It's ushering those souls into this world. So I will never, and that's why even when Terrell said what he said about this young lady and her sons, I bridled my tongue because I don't know what caused her to shape them in the way that she's shaping them. Um, However, at the same time, I do know again that is the closest that we get to death. So all I will do and say is that their children don't come with an instruction manual, and that comes for,
Mhm.
from a mother to a father. We don't know what we don't know, and we're hopefully doing what our hearts tell us to do, in reference to rearing them. But I also
Right.
just wanted to let that be said that there is nothing wrong with a baby, or a blessing, as I call them, and refer to them as,
Mhm.
them not going to school to the next level of school.
Right.
Because if you're going to go and just fuck around, what's the point of you going? Like,
That
let's be real about it. What is it that you want to do in this world? How do you see yourself? I have my last baby is my wild card, is what I call her. She is very much so introverted. She don't want to talk. I am very, very blessed that with her, we've been able to figure out outside of art, which she does amazing artwork. And she has been featured in the art museums because based on those things and those efforts that she makes artistically. However, she's also picked up piano. So I found a way in order for me to still be a parent that can be like,
Mhm.
that's my baby, because at the art museum, you just have to stare by the artwork and that's all you can do. And you're there and you're quiet
Yeah,
and you're
they,
observant, yes, and everybody's quiet. But I was that football mom to be beating on stands, and the cheerleaders wanted me to become their cheer coach. And now when I go to the school and he's graduated, they have taken some of my cheers and made them their cheers. And my daughter was like, my mom created that. So it means a lot to me, like for her to go into her
Yeah.
own zone of me being able to cheer, and her in her introverted way, she goes, like I told her, you're in front of the piano and nobody, you're not looking at anyone. You're not focused on them looking at you, but she's able to still provide this beauty in this artistic
Mhm.
way through the piano at these recitals. And even if it's just a little 30-second ditty, that's my baby. And I get to cheer and I get to clap. And so, yeah, so that's, the way in which we found for her, because that is her avenue, where my oldest was a singer, can sing down like, ugh. People be like, you say that like it's nothing. She can sing, but my baby sings. My oldest sings, and my son was a football player, and baby did it rock on anybody block on the dance floor. But that last one, she's an introvert and she's artistic, and we just have to cultivate the safe space for them, Chrissy, to be the amazing souls that they need to be. And that's one of the things that Terrell was like, Carmen, and he a man, and you trying to keep him as a baby. And I was, because I know that once he gets out in this world, that's it. Because at the end of
You
the
know what the
day,
world holds. You know what the
yes, because
world
that's
consists
it.
of.
All of the
Mhm.
safeguarding,
Mhm.
all of the, life 360 of knowing where he's at.
Yeah.
I had to turn all of that now off. He a grown ass, like he's beyond a grown ass man. He a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And so it goes into that part of where your faith lies. Because
mm,
now I have to know that
Mhm.
I did my job. I
Mhm.
covered him. I blessed him. I was prophesied over. My son was prophesied over even when he was a baby. And like I told him, you had destiny spoke over you even
Mhm.
from the time you were in my stomach. And I
wow.
think that that's another thing that we have to understand, that these souls that are choosing us are so special. You're guiding them, but you're not there to be relive yourself through them and be your better self through them. You need to be realizing they have bad days, they have headaches, they have things that they go through in school. And I am not for the old school way of living where you do as I say, not as I do. No, she had a headache today.
Right.
And or young ladies go through that time of the month, so she just didn't want to be bothered today. So therefore, we have to take all of these things into consideration when it comes to these young souls, and also, just like Terrell said, the way that they're what they're seeing is impressionable at this age. What they're seeing in the world now, everybody's trying to come into terms with making these babies choose a sexuality,
Yeah.
and they're still kids.
Mm.
It's sad. So
Well,
there is no instruction manual, Chrissy. So look, while he's still waiting on mama to make him a plate or whatever it is, or for you to say it's a free night, every man for us to enjoy it.
Wow. Wow.
I
Enjoy it.
agree.
I mean, Christy, go
Mhm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I heard you say something. You both said something, and it brought. And when you were talking, I was wondering if some of these parents have trauma, that they're going through,
Right.
and then that trauma rolls into the parenting style, and then
Yeah.
it brings trauma into the lives of those children. Because when he said the video, I hadn't seen the video,
Me
but
either,
just to
sis.
see that the mom has three sons and they're all twerking, it makes me wonder, what is this unhealed trauma that we have, and then we become parents. And parenting, if you know, it's a very hard job.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not healed, but then you're trying to lead and guide someone else.
Mm.
What does that guidance, what does that leadership look like if you're
Look
not
like.
healed? If
Right.
you're dealing with trauma that has, if you've never been healed, never gotten help for the trauma that you've had in your life. Sometimes when I look at those videos and I was watching something today, and I had to Google it. It was a show on Netflix, and I think it was called Animal Kingdom. And I was sitting here and I was working, and then the mom. I thought it said that it was the son. It was her son, and she kissed him in the mouth. So I had to rewind it again, and then she did kiss him in the mouth. So I Googled it to see what am I watching, and it said that the mother had these kind of inappropriate relationships with her sons. They really weren't her sons, but they were her sons, and even if you call them your sons, you can't kiss them in the mouth. But then
Girl.
now that I'm sitting here talking to you guys, she had a lot of unhealed trauma. The mother, her story, because I read ahead, because I was like, I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch all 6 seasons of this. I've not
So
seen it.
this is like a series on.
It's a
Is it?
series. It's a show. It's called Animal Kingdom. You'll have to Google it. I'll have to tell you about it.
Wow.
But yeah, the mom was kissing the sons, and then she just walk in when they're having showers, like in her lingerie, just walk in and just, yeah, it was a trip. So I was
You
so
know,
when you guys were talking, it just brought up some things. Look at Carmenia. Yeah, this
you got that look.
this Carmenia, you're scaring me. I want you to fix it. I didn't say me. I said the show. I said
Oh,
I noticed, like, not like, no,
the
no,
show.
no. Like, I've seen, and don't get me wrong, everything to me has a way of being
Mm-hmm.
for TV. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I've seen these shows that come on TLC. The my mom is my best friend. We dress like twins, and then they're showing how the structure is where the mom and the daughter, how they navigate men in their lives, and the men are like, yeah, we just have to realize that the mom and daughter aren't going to be broke up, and so we love them for what they are. Or the overbearing mom, where I'm married to a mama's boy or I'm dating a mama's boy. Baby,
It's a lot.
let
It's
me
a
go
lot.
ahead and
It's a
tell you
lot of
something,
types of
and
relationships.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. It's not even cute, the fact that young men, period, but especially black men, have to worry about making a decision between their mother and a woman.
Mm.
Because I will always tell my son there isn't a conversation to be had. My ass belong in the back. and I stand 6'1", and I will wrinkle crinkle my fat ass back in the back seat before I ever allow for my son's woman to ever feel like she is out of place when she is supposed to be next to her man. How about that? What you look like
Oh my God.
trying to run competition on somebody who is there to love your son.
You did say that. You
Hey,
actually said
look
that.
I
here.
did say that shit, like for real.
You don't drop the mic on that one.
I'm so serious.
Oh my God.
Y'all, I am so excited to be on this platform. I'm so glad to know that we do not put lipstick on a gorilla. Because, baby, now that I'm here, y'all better buckle up. Because I got some, look, these are my opinions. He told me that I can say what I feel. So this is what I have to say. And even when it comes to me not sniffing up on somebody's son, I wasn't gonna go to nature, but baby, since we're talking about it, that's what made me stop wanting to sniff on somebody's son. When I seen a mallard duck take his woman duck, and they were walking alone. And the other mallard ducks, a gang of them came up by his lady while she was eating, and he bucked up his chest and chased them down the hill. And at first, the five of them only moved a little bit. That wasn't good enough for him. He chased them down the hill. And guess what? His woman stayed up there with her neck turned, eating. And see, this is what I had to realize, that if in nature, a woman knows her places to be taken care of, and not once did she come up behind him like, yeah, my man told y'all to back up. Yeah, what you gonna do? Because I need to eat. Not once did she do that. That woman duck kept eating. He
Oh,
covered her and made sure that there was enough space for his woman to eat and for there not to be no problems about where she was gonna eat.
you know
So
what?
if in nature, if God can set it up for a duck to cover his woman, God's got a man who gonna cover me, baby, and I ain't gonna have to worry about knowing that I got his back. I'm gonna be able to just eat like my sis at the table and find out which fork I'm supposed to use at what time. Amen.
Well, there's a certain level of trust
Yeah,
because she kept eating, and so she
she did,
trusted.
sis.
She
She did.
trusted, and I think that's the thing that
All of
we
it,
cannot
all of it.
trust these men to be accountable.
And see,
I
that's why I literally
you can
believe
they don't
that
yeah.
my ability to keep myself, sis, so that I can be in receiver, like you, like I said, I'm a lady and I want to be all of those things. Now, don't get it twisted. That's why I'm a little rock girl in the Texas world, because I can shoot, I can cook, clean, serve. But the point is that I shouldn't have to. The only time that I should have to take care of you is when I have to take care of you, sucker. If outside of that you're not there to take care of me, what I got you for?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then I think you have said enough to do the whole microphone drop. I yeah, you have said you said it all. I don't even know if I can. I don't even know how to come behind it, but
Sis, I love you. I
I
love you for
I,
letting me be me.
I
Look,
am
I'm
the
gonna learn how to sit more classy at the table. But yeah, soon as you know you like that, I got it. So when you tap me, I can go ahead and back up from the
Oh
table
man.
no.
and yeah,
I think you were on to something, and I would like to have a continuation of it. But I
yeah.
say this right here: what I have found out recently with my friendships that I have cultivated with marriage, everything that you see and you do with people can't be trusted. You have to, people
Mm,
will fail you. And
mm,
when they do, you shouldn't be surprised because we've never had that trust, like you said. We know that. We keep ignoring red flags forever. We just ignore them. We're like, oh, it's but she didn't have any red flags. That duck was just like this right here. I can
that
trust
that.
I can trust that he is not going to let me down.
Mm.
So that
Yes,
trust that she had meant that he's never failed her. He could have wavered, but he didn't
right.
fail her because
But he didn't fail her.
she didn't put her bread down at all.
Did
She
not.
kept pecking.
She
She
did.
trusted. There was a certain level of trust. And until we can build and cultivate these levels of trust, our guards are going to be up. We're not going to keep on. Well, you're going to be like you said. We're going to be like he said, back up. I
Right.
can't do it because I can't do it. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I do. And I just I honestly realize I want what wants me, but I also
mm,
want what who knows what they want. You know, there
absolutely.
are so many situationships going on right now because men are able to entertain women because we all want to be loved. We all want the masculine
Absolutely.
validation of a man.
Absolutely.
But like you
Absolutely.
said, I now know and
Hmm.
have taken stock in myself. I get up and I pour into myself, and I'm the love of my life. I want a man who is the love of his own life and knows that he wants to love somebody for life. I'm looking for a partnership now. I'm looking for alignment now
Mm,
because
I
you
like that.
smelling good is just going to come with that because you love yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
know if I'm shining like a diamond with this caramel tan going on, then that's automatically gonna come without words. But I need to know what manner of man you are, like you said, because I want to be one of those that he knows he has to flare up his wings for me to see him show off for me. I want him to know that I need you to show me that you're a protector, a provider, so I can feel that freedom, like you said, sis, so that I can eat and not be watching my own back. I
Mm.
ain't got to
That part,
worry
that
about it.
part, because I don't trust
That
anybody
freedom,
anymore.
that
I
part.
have learned now. It took me a long time. I'm not gonna say how many years, but over 50 to learn that you know what? You can't trust everything. You can't trust everybody.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to just be very careful. So I'm not going to let anybody protect me. I'm going to protect me.
Yeah.
So I'm in a season of protecting me. But I hear you. I like where you're going.
And I'm and
Cause
I'm and I'm
I
there
like where
too,
you're
sis.
going.
But I do
I
want to
like
lay
where
on
you're going
somebody's
though.
son.
I like
But
where
if
you're
I
going.
can't lay on your chest and know that I'm good, then I don't want to lay. I'll just keep my pillows. How
I
about that?
like that.
Well,
I mean, but I don't think it's a chest you can lay on though. I don't know. I I don't know.
listen,
These
listen,
these
listen.
men, these men, these men, these men not right. These men.
Listen.
I'm
Listen,
calling it into my life. I
we're
refuse to
not.
believe that all of them. You know what?
You're
And
right
another
though.
thing, and
You're
I
right
know
though.
we about to run for time, but I
Okay.
am recalling back the whole thing of women saying that men are dogs. Men are
I don't
not
believe it.
dogs
I don't believe that though.
because
I don't believe
dogs
that they're
are
all dogs.
loyal, dogs are friendly, dogs are caring, dogs love you, dogs support you, dogs are a comfort.
Mm.
What
I don't
these ladies
believe that
have been
all
talking
men
about
are
is the
that.
little salamander, little snakes that they
Yeah.
found in their grass. Baby, because if you have a dog, let's go ahead and talk about it. They come into that door. As soon as they hear somebody, that them ears get keen. Baby, I don't care if it's a frou-frou dog. They are still hollering and they mom and daddy having to tell them to shut up because they don't play about their home. So when women said
Okay.
that and it became something for men to think is bad, I'm gonna tell y'all to reclaim their time. Because
Okay.
if y'all, baby, a thick neck dog, ooh, a pit bull, give me one. Protect
Well,
me.
I think we got to come back to this. I'm not saying that they're all bad, but what I have found out with men is that they get us to a certain point. They want us to be accountable for our actions. They want us to understand what we're supposed to be doing, but they never can be held accountable for their own. They're good at talking, but they're not really the leaders that they say that they are. So I'm gonna leave that at that until our next conversation. So I'm gonna say that, and then but I'm in agreement with you because I do believe that there is some good, but I think that they got to start being accountable. I think that they have to say, you know what, listen, let's take some accountability because we have held women to a standard of being accountable. We have held them to that standard, and once we do that, we are accountable. It's still not enough. They're gonna have to show up and show out.
I
That's
guess this is my thing, sis. I love you for who you are. And I love me for who I am. And I love T for who he is. And for
okay.
anybody else watching this, I don't need all of them to show up for me.
Mm.
I only need one.
One.
You only need one. Baby, y'all can go on with these jokers I'm looking for a king amongst men. I only need one. My appetite is quite big, and I need you to be able to handle that. Hey, daddy. But outside of that one, I only need one. So just like they get to talking about women and how everybody wants you to pay and blah, 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 check the foundation of her. I'm no longer looking for the Honda of a man. I'm no longer looking for the Maxima of a man. Baby, we looking
Okay.
for the luxury vehicle, sis. And baby, you have always been classy and sassy. We come in a certain type of way. So if you're not on that level, then you need not apply. How about that?
I like that.
I,
I'm done. I don't have anything else. I think
I,
she
I,
said it
I,
all.
I've listened to I listened both to both of you all, and I know y'all went there on that little male bashing, but I don't mind.
Not
Y'all
bashing.
There
Not
was no
bashing.
bashing.
No bash.
yeah,
I said that
yeah.
if we're going to be accountable, accountability goes both ways. That's not bashing. That is just
Not
saying that
bashing.
that's
Well, I
not
mean,
bashing.
when
I
it
think that things need to go both ways. So
when we
that's
talk
not
about
bashing.
when we talk about
Trust.
when we talk about accountability,
Mm-hmm.
now it has been proven and statistically proven that women hadn't accepted accountability in a long time. Now maybe they're accepting it
Well,
now.
pull up your statistics.
Yeah, they
Pull up your
maybe
statistics.
they're accepting it now, but at this it hasn't been that way in the past. But now, and I think we said something earlier about the man war and the woman war. It is.
Yes, there is. There's a war between men and women,
And it
and it is
shouldn't
so
be.
exhausting.
Shouldn't be.
I don't think that war is a war that people think it is. I just think it's just misled and misguided because we don't share our experiences like we should. When we start sharing our experiences like we should,
I
there
think
shouldn't
so.
be a war. It
Yeah,
ain't.
and I get that, but the walls are so far up that I
Mhm.
bowed out. I'm good on it.
So,
I think so. Yeah, you
yeah.
have to be able to
But
be heard. People need to hear you.
if we gonna talk about accountability, I sure don't like to be. I don't want to be a. Let's talk about the victim. The victim and how people play that too.
They do play that.
Yeah.
They play that to
And
a certain degree.
before we
They go to
close, I
book.
do want to say this
Okay.
to this book I just got called Relay and Ready by the author
Hmm.
of Yolanda Harper. She lives in Houston, Texas, I believe. To Houston, Texas. She lives in Houston, Texas. She just wrote this book. So I'm gonna check this book out, and hopefully I can feature her on 954 Miles of Conversation about Relay Ready because she used to be a track star. So she put a lot of her
Awesome.
experiences into this book. You know, she kind of told me a little bit about it on the phone, but I'll read it and hopefully get it back out to you all and go from there. For our viewers and listeners in the Little Rock area, Texas area, Omaha, Nebraska, to my friends up there, there's a golf tournament July the 18th. And let me put this up there because I was able to put it up there. And if you play golf and would like to be a part of the Dr. Charles R. Drew Memorial Golf Tournament in Maumelle, Arkansas, it will be held at number 3 Country Club in Maumelle, Arkansas. The date it will be July the 18th, 2025. The shotgun starts at 8:30 a.m. on July the 18th. Please come out and support the golf tournament for scholarships for students in the state of Arkansas. So please come out and
Awesome.
support that. Okay. Before we close tonight, and this show was about our new guest. So as usual, I always knew she was gonna be entertaining. She said a lot of things about dropping the mic. She dropped the mic on a lot of concepts. I'm looking forward to the ideas that both of you all have about shows, and you all running that show. And I sit back and say, let me be an audience. I'm looking forward to that to see how well that come apart. So, uh, Christy, you have anything you say before we close?
No, it was a good time.
Okay, Carmenia, welcome to 954 Miles of Conversation. Anything
Thank
you want to
you. Thank you so very much for inviting me into your world, for taking me in and loving on me the way that you two have, and expanding the ability to get my thoughts out in a different way.
Yeah,
And I especially am excited about, partnering with the two of you and seeing where this goes when we are actually able to take live commentary coming back to us.
Yeah.
because that's gonna be fun. I'm
That will
excited
be
for that.
fun. That would be
Yeah.
fun. I would be. Well, matter of fact, I have to meet with the guy tomorrow, so we're gonna talk about it over the phone and how I'm gonna be able to fund this and make this work. So, um, if there's nothing else, thank you all for being in and enjoy talking to both of y'all and looking forward to working with you. And to my viewers and listeners, until we see you next time. Uh, Peace out, and then. As usually we say, exploring boundless conversations 1 mile at a time. 954 miles of conversation. Peace out.